Hello everyone, we're standing here today at the Hydrogen Technology Expo in Hamburg, organized by Transglobal Events. Here at the booth, momentarily, WL Gore. We have the pleasure with two lovely gentlemen, Lutz and Oliver. We're both going to be talking about several subjects. We'll start off with you, Oliver, first, and then we'll move to Lutz after. But before we delve into the details, we'd like to have a little bit of an introduction. So, Oliver, if you could please introduce Gore, WL Gore, briefly, and then a little bit about your role in it as well.
Yeah. So my name is Oliver Teller. I'm a product manager for Gore. And at Gore's clean energy business, we're producing and making and developing the membranes which are used in water electrolysis as well as fuel cells.
Fantastic. Thank you for that introduction. You had a bit more of an elaborate introduction during one of your speeches during the conference. It was on levelized cost of hydrogen and other things, if I can abbreviate it like that way. Could you tell us a little bit about what that was all about?
So I gave a speech here at the conference, and that was about how we as a membrane supplier can actually impact and help to reduce the levelized cost of hydrogen, because this currently is the biggest problem of the industry, right? So that we can bring down the costs, and the costs for green hydrogen are comparable to gray hydrogen.
And what were some of the findings that you presented sort of to the audience?
So what can we as a supplier do, right? So if you look at how the levelized cost of hydrogen are dominated, you can find, right, that the key cost component, right, is really electrical consumption. So the electric expenses are the highest, right? So they typically count for about 80% of the levelized cost of hydrogen. So if you want to bring down the electricity cost, then you basically have to improve the efficiency of the system or the electrolyzer. And to do this, you basically have to optimize your membrane. So the membrane needs to be more conductive, or the membrane needs to have a lower crossover. And we can do this by, for example, reducing the thickness of the membrane or increase the conductivity of the ionomer itself.
So cost is obviously a big challenge, and you mentioned some of the ways to deal with that. But if we take a step back and look at the broader picture, what would you say are some of the challenges in like scaling the green hydrogen? Is cost the predominant one, or there's some other elements as well?
Cost is definitely very important, right? So because green hydrogen these days costs between 4.5 and 6.5 euro cent per kilowatt hour. So if you compare this to gray hydrogen produced through steam reforming, this is about $1 per kilogram, right? So you definitely bring this down. So there are predictions that the costs come down until 2030 to 2 to 4.5 euro per kilogram. Yeah, so that's, I think, the key, and it's important, right, that this happens. So, and therefore, I think bringing this down and helping with right, bringing this down by developing better membranes, with doing this is key. Our goal is really to, let's say, provide the membrane, right, which enables the lowest levelized cost of hydrogen.
Okay, and what are some of the key characteristics of like achieving that goal?
Key characteristic, right? So our investigations, right, shown that if we increase the conductivity and reduce the permeability of the membrane, right, so the costs of the levelized cost of hydrogen can come down 20 to 25 euro cent per kilogram hydrogen. So that represents about 5%, right? And in total, right, if you, let's say, for example, have an electrolyzer which operates in a steel plant, which is 500 megawatts and produces about 85,000 tons of hydrogen per year, right? This basically gives you annual savings which are in the order of $18 million.
Well, that's fantastic, getting the cost down and the efficiencies up. But we all know there's no such thing as a free lunch. What are the trade-offs?
So, for example, right, if you make the membrane thinner to get lower levelized cost of hydrogen, right, then potentially a challenge is durability, right? A thinner membrane typically is perceived to be less durable. So you basically need to overcome, right? You need to have a thin, durable membrane, and that, I think, is the key challenge.
Fantastic, Oliver. Thank you very much for that explanation. Moving to you now, Lutz. Before we delve into the detail, maybe you can also give a little bit of an introduction about yourself.
Absolutely. So first of all, welcome on our booth. Really appreciate this. You're taking the time. So my name is Lutz Biewer, and I'm the Executive Vice President for Clean Energy for Sales and Business Development. I just joined this team half a year ago, but I'm a long-term Gore associate, and I'm happy to make a contribution here.
We talked quite a bit on the levelized cost of hydrogen. That seems to be part of your mission. Can you tell us maybe a little bit about your mission and sort of how you're trying to achieve that?
Okay, so in Gore, we made a clear statement that we want to play in this market, and we want to make a huge contribution there. Not only from the fact that I think, in hydrogen is a viable option and an alternative to reduce the carbon footprint from fossil fuels. So But what Oliver alluded to really well on is we need to bring the levelized cost of hydrogen. So what is our contribution there? What is our mission? So you take our approach to fitness for use, the most reliable, cost-efficient PEM technology that we want to provide. And how do we do this? So a couple of components: cutting-edge R&D, strong collaboration with the key players in the market, and then our associates. Our associates, they push the boundaries of innovation every day to help, to move forward and provide a greater future for generations to come. And when you see our brand promise, Together Improving Life, this is not just a brand promise, this is a call to action.
Call to action is also the scalability. Scalability is a big problem or a challenge, I should say, in the hydrogen industry, upstream but also downstream. What about scalability? What does that mean for you guys?
That's an excellent question. So scalability, so in the future I think we need to get to the point to support multi-gigawatt projects, and we are ready for that. So all the investments that we have done in the past is going to contribute with our partners, our associates in technology into multi-gigawatt productions.
Well, lovely. Thank you both gentlemen, Oliver and Lutz, for the extensive explanation. Much appreciated.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming over. Really appreciate this. Thank you.